Hey ho, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Kingdom Compass podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin, Griffin D-Pad, and with me, as always, is the wonderful, the amazing Mr. Mitch George. How are you doing tonight?
It's like you're coming right at me.
Yeah, you made some choices on this one. Really, it was I forced you into some
They're
choices.
poor choices, and I don't regret a second of it.
Mm-hmm. Of course, folks, this is Kingdom Compass, the podcast where we direct you to the goods and bads of all things Disney. This is not the Disney Plus podcast. That's the old one. I totally did the wrong intro, but I don't really care. That's the vibe we got with this episode.
Is it though?
Actually, the problem, honestly, for this episode might be that I care too much, Mitch.
Okay.
But we'll
what
get
are we
into
caring
that.
too much about today, Griffin?
Today we are doing our review of Tron Ares. But before we jump into any of that, this is the Kingdom Compass. This is an all-encompassing Disney podcast about movies, TV show, video games, theme parks, anything and everything. We are doing so much fun stuff here. We are trying to go through all of the episodes of Win or Lose, but it's really hard for me to remember to watch things and for us to find the time to record because we're busy. So, folks, bear with us. Also, man, I really need to start watching the show because it's really good.
Yeah.
And also kind of traumatic.
Very much so.
Yeah, go check that out. Check out all of our fun stuff. Keep an eye out on this episode and other episodes of this show by hitting the subscribe button, whether that be on YouTube with the Kingdom Compass or on the Kingdom Compass podcast feed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. Please hit that button. Now, Mitch, we're going to jump into Tron Ares, but I want to try to keep this a recurring segment of...
Yeah.
Let's talk about something fun. Let's talk about something else separate from that first. A classics of what have you been playing? What have you been watching? What have you been doing? What is one thing that you've been doing as of late that is not necessarily what we're talking about today? Audio listeners, you're missing out.
I have been glued to my couch and attending in person a number of baseball events in this city. Because as many of you are may or may not be aware, we are in October. October baseball means playoff baseball. And for the first time in 32 years, your hometown Toronto Blue Jays are heading to the show to face off against Goliath and the monster crazy contract situation they ended up with in not paying all the money they probably should have, but still having the highest payroll in baseball, Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, baseball has been fully taking over. We have scheduled our recordings around when there isn't a baseball game.
Yep. And you watched baseball for the first time in a while.
I did.
Which I appreciated.
I don't care about baseball. Baseball's the one sport that's like I respect it, I appreciate it. I used to work in it. But it's not the one that has me gripped. I'm much more of a soccer fan. I'm much more of an American football fan. But yeah, I just happened to be out while that game was going at a bar, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna watch because I know Mitch is invested.
That was game 7, right, of the ALCS.
I was gonna say it was also just casually the most important game of the series.
Yeah, and I was there, and oh my god, it was something special.
Yeah,
but so I mean, I've kind of just gotten enthralled in all things Toronto Blue Jays recently, as well as a number of comics that I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. I really enjoyed. What was it called? No, I need to go to my library account.
I know the Avengers one you read was Avengers Twilight.
That was the one. Yes, Avengers Twilight is, I would almost say, required reading at this point. For those who don't know, Avengers Twilight is from the same writers, and I want to pull it up. I could.
Yeah, that's Chip Zdarsky.
Yes. So it's from the same writing team that did Spider-Man Life Story, Fantastic Four Life Story, which I really enjoyed both of those books for what they are as sort of like what if alternate takes on those characters, or like what if they just aged through their story.
Have you read,
which I thought was really interesting.
Have you read Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run?
I've not. And now that I know it exists, I need to read it.
So you should read it. It is amazing. And Daredevil Born Again seems to be pulling a lot from it.
Yes. So essentially the
premise
premise
I thought
of
it was going to.
Avengers Twilight is essentially what if Captain America got old and what if the world evolved around the. It is very much a commentary on today's current geopolitical climate in terms of what if fascism was fashionable, and is a really, really, really interesting story to be told right now, and specifically with Captain America. Steve Rogers is the central character of that. I highly recommend. Everyone
Honestly,
should go
after
out
I
and read this
read it,
book.
we might do an episode on it depending on it because it sounds like
I'm
it's worth.
100% down. It's really, really good.
Also, just in terms of like me shouting out Chip Zdarsky, because Chip Zdarsky might be like one of the best comic writers right now. Period. I would highly recommend checking out his Batman run. I know it's not Marvel or DC, it's not Marvel or Disney or anything, but his Batman run is fantastic, and he gave us one of my new favorite villains in for Batman, just in general, in Failsafe. Highly recommend it. He is also the writer, though, of Devil's Reign. Devil's Reign was this kind of. Devil's Reign was this. It came out in 2021, and it is Kingpin becoming mayor.
Right.
And I messed up. I said that Daredevil was based off of. I hope they pull some of Daredevil's because the storytelling was great. Devil's Reign is more accurate for what they based it off of, but it is the Kingpin of crime taking over, and essentially it is war in New York City, and he does such a good job writing with it. There's a couple of little bit of weirdness in it, not because of that book, but because of just the timing of it. Like Spider-Man in this one is Ben Reilly and not Peter Parker. But genuinely, it is a fantastic book, and I hope that they pull the way that it ends. I really hope they pull it for the MCU.
Yeah. I just want to go back and correct. Chip Zdarsky didn't have anything to do with Fantastic Four Life Story, which also, might be a bit more of a reason to read this, because I know, at least in comparing the two Life Story books we've gotten thus far, Spider-Man is leaps and bounds above the Fantastic Four one, in my opinion. I loved both. Spider-Man's way better. And he's actually, so Chip Zdarsky, two things. He is currently the writer on the current run of Captain America, illustrated by Valeria Shitty. It looks amazing. I cannot wait till there's a collection that I can either purchase or borrow from the library, because it just, between the art style and knowing what his writing has been, I want to read more of his Captain America stories. And secondly, he's Canadian. Grew up about an hour north of Toronto. So
you always find some way
great
to pull
American
it back.
political commentary from a Canadian. You got to love it.
One other book that he wrote, because I genuinely love this man.
Yes, he's a phenomenal writer.
He wrote an independent book with Matt Fraction that got incredibly popular, and it's we try to keep things fairly, I would say, PG-13.
Agnostic?
No, not even that. We don't go agnostic. We try to keep these relatively PG-13 on the show. I'm throwing all that out the window for this. He wrote a book called Sex Criminals. This is 2013. It's real fucking weird, but I love it.
I'm reading the synopsis on Wikipedia. You're not wrong.
I'm not going to say any more than that. It's very weird and very great. It also got like a surprising amount of issues. There
was also a one-off called Sex Criminal, Just the Tips, which I appreciate.
Yeah, there are 6 collections, so 30 books. Actually, no. So I'm sorry. There are 31 books because they did a special issue 69.
Of course they did.
But yeah, it's good. Recommend it. As for what I've been doing, I have been honestly mostly just playing games. I haven't really had much time to watch anything other than Critical Role. And if I'm being honest, if I started saying Critical Role every time we did this, it's all I would say.
We are not going to become another Critical Role podcast.
No, we don't need more of those.
We'd rather just be another Disney podcast.
But what I want to shout out gaming wise is you and I have both been playing Pokemon Legends ZA. And I think that game is fantastic. And the thing that is really surprising me for it is its storytelling.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised and by the story specifically, but also just the way Pokemon does weird things in my brain. Like I do think there's probably some undiagnosed conditions that I may or may not attribute to attention deficit types of deals, as well as maybe everyone is on the spectrum in some manner. To some small extent, I think there is a part of my brain that is just geared in towards everything Pokemon. I can You put a Pokemon in front of me, I would name it. I know all the type combos, the
Yeah, you are
weaknesses,
a
the
sicko
all
for this.
resistances. I am a Pokemon encyclopedia. Not to the same extent of some experts out there, but it is definitely like my shtick
Yeah,
when it
I am
comes to
not
gaming.
near.
And
I
I know they're
love.
not like they're not revolutionary, but it is just great popcorn filler type gameplay that just
Which is
tickles
funny
my
because
brain in the
I
best way.
still I disagree so much on with people being like, oh, it's just Pokemon. I think Pokemon does have this love. I love these games. I am not the same encyclopedic knowledge of these games as many people are, but I still play almost all of them and play it. I think Pokemon was revolutionary. I think now it is just still consistently good, if not great. Legends EA was a game where I was never worried about the design. I was never worried about the combat or the gameplay. I knew it was going to be good, and it is good. The thing that was always curious to me was the story, and I was chatting with you last night. This game genuinely has me crashing out over characters popping up, and popping up in meaningful, well-written ways, which just doesn't always happen when it comes to some of these games, particularly Nintendo and Game Freak.
Yeah,
It's
I
really really well
enjoy
done.
I enjoy the attention to lore building and world building that this game does specifically, which is not something I thought I would say from a Pokemon game, especially given the Legends games. I mean, it's only the second one we've gotten, so there really isn't a precedent set. But it was more of this like alternate history pulled out of time, timey-wimey
There are
BS type
like
experience with
there's two specific
Arceus.
precedents that they've set so far, and I think that they're entirely hilarious. Of first, the story gets weirdly serious. Both of these
Yeah,
games, incredibly serious topics. I mean,
yeah.
this
I'm
game is
honestly
about
like
rebuilding a city after a terrorist attack. And that is crazy for a Pokemon game.
it is about that, but it's also about the ecological impact of redeveloping a city and sequestering animals into only certain parts of the city, and what happens when they break those containment, and the idea of urban development. It's honestly kind of wild,
All of that
but then
said,
also it's just like, oh, this takes place 5 years from when um, X and Y, which is, this is based in a city that is in those games, the subject of said terrorist attack. And they're like, oh, yeah, no, I mean, it's a little further on than you are. I don't think it's a spoiler. They just casually like drop the name of a character from another game we got recently. I'm like, oh, that's neat.
the other consistent thing in that's so hilarious when paired to that is that the Legends games specifically are obsessed with your party sitting down and eating a meal. And I love that.
Also, the terrifying nature of real time combat, and the fact that there are Pokemon that will specifically target your character and not the Pokemon that is trying to fight them.
Oh yeah, this
Which
game we could genuinely talk about.
running away from a giant eye glowing Beedrill is kind of a nightmare.
Yeah, we could talk about this game for the entire episode, and we might jump back.
Can we just
into
do
it.
that instead?
We might jump back into it with this movie. But yeah, thank you for bearing with us, folks. I'm trying to do this at the top of every episode. It's just fun to see what we were playing. We'll have a proper segment name for it eventually. But let's talk about our main topic today, and that is Tron Ares, releasing to everybody October 10th, 2025, a runtime of 119 minutes, a budget of approximately $180 million to $220 million, and a box office of $106.4 million. And genuinely looking at this movie, I get it. I fucking get it. Directed by Joachim Running, this is his fourth movie with Disney, and frankly, I am kind of surprised by that. His first movie being Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. His second being Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. That's right, not the first one, the sequel.
They're both terrible.
Young Woman in the Sea, which actually wasn't bad. I will give him credit for that one. That one was actually decent. And then his fourth one now being Tron Ares. Uh, Screenplay written by Jesse Wigatow. Starring Jared Leto, Greta Lee, Evan Peters, Jodie Turner-Smith, Son Minaj, Arturo Castro, Gillian Anderson, and Jeff Bridges. Cinematography by Jeff Cronenweth. And music done by Nine Inch Nails. Mitch, I'm wearing a Flynn's t-shirt right now.
Yeah, you are.
I wear this t-shirt fairly often. It's one of my favorite t-shirts.
It's a nice t-shirt.
Because I love Tron. I love this franchise. I love the first two movies, even though they are not good movies. I love the idea
And this
of the
continues
world.
that trend for many people.
I love the games. I think if you are ever interested in seeing what a good story in Tron looks like, go play the games created by Bithell Games. They're available on pretty much
I need
everything.
to play those still.
I loved the TV series they did. That was kind of the prequel to Tron Legacy.
That was like an animated thing?
It is animated, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the first major 3D animated series on Disney. Just in general. I think it was on Disney Plus.
I think that predates Disney Plus, doesn't it?
It might predate it, but Disney Plus definitely started while it was running, because I vividly remember a on Disney Plus commercial for it.
Oh, okay.
I left this theater angry. I was so upset by this movie.
I was not.
This movie felt to me so bad that it was insulting.
See, I just enjoyed the campy nature of it. So this is going to be an interesting conversation.
It's rare for me to be on the anger side and for you to just be chill. It's normally the opposite.
Yeah. Look, I'm living the life, man. My Jays are in the World Series.
No, I love Tron, and I know what Tron can be. And this was such a nothing film. I think this film is poorly acted, poorly written, poorly directed. The only good thing there are two things I liked from this movie. I liked the music, even though the sound mix was terrible and the music is way too loud throughout this entire film. And I liked the light cycle chase at the beginning of the movie. That was dope. I will give them that. Those are the only things I liked in this movie. I fucking love Greta Lee because it's Greta fucking Lee in this film. And I'm just kind of meh on her character. Evan Peters is okay
her character makes some odd choices that just seem to be done to forward the plot and not actually align with her character's motivations, which was
her character's entire motivation
of a campy movie. But
her character's entire motivation is that she's sad about losing her sister, and I did not actually see sadness from her once.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I went into this with the lowest of low expectations. So just for reference, the reason I had those 3D glasses on before this was because we were going away for the weekend, and the only way for me to see this that didn't disrupt me watching baseball and us going away for the weekend was to go to a 6 p.m. 3D showing at my local theater. I despise seeing films in 3D. I actually kind of enjoyed this being in 3D, if that makes sense. The Disney Castle logo at the beginning with the strobes and everything was super cool in 3D and might have been my favorite part of the movie. But I went into this with such low expectations because of all the initial reviews that came out and everyone being very low on this, knowing it hadn't done well at the box office, knowing when I bought my ticket, I was the only one in the theater and there ended up being about 4 people other than me. But I didn't despise seeing this because I don't have the same reverence for the original Tron that a lot of people do. I didn't grow up with the 80s movie. My childhood was mostly Disney animation. It wasn't, Tron.
Neither was
enjoyed Tron. I enjoyed Tron Legacy when that released. I know it's not a good movie, but again, it was a popcorn movie for me. I enjoyed what I got out of it. And I can say the same with this. I feel as good about this, having seen this movie as I do about having seen Tron Legacy, largely due to the fact that I don't have the same, Jared Leto. We'll get to that, I'm sure. But he's kind of perfect for this role.
No, he is
as
not.
As a monotone, zero personality until he leaves the game, and then really likes Depeche Mode for some reason, and that's largely probably due to some underlying code in the grid that Kevin Flynn wrote that just like is somewhere baked in his programming or something. I don't know.
Look,
But like there's a campiness to this where it's just like I enjoyed it. I know it's not good, but I still enjoyed it.
See, you call it campiness. I genuinely just call it bad acting. I don't think it's camp. I think it is Jared Leto is a god awful actor. And
I mean, yeah.
The idea of programs being this emotionless, no thoughts, just action is a complete ignoring of both Tron and Tron Legacy, because the big revelation of those films is that no, programs do have emotions, and they are these not quite living but still kind of living beings within the grid. And when as Leto's like this character as Ares is supposed to like kind of slowly become more human throughout this movie and play with that free will aspect of it, he gets more robotic as it goes on, which
I wouldn't say he gets more robotic. I don't think he breaks those chains in the way that you might have expected, but he does develop that sense of permanence, right? Of understanding that his time is finite and trying to find.
The fucking permanence code might be the next goddamn unobtainium. It is the worst named shit I have ever seen in a movie.
I mean, it's a super MacGuffin. That's 1,000% true. Especially because we didn't have to go through all those hoops to also do that same thing in Tron Legacy, which this movie doesn't. It's a sequel, but it's also a soft reboot of the franchise.
It ignores Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy might as well not
the idea
exist.
of combining Olivia Wilde's character with Leto's and having them meet in some place.
Let's not even forget that
it
just changed the rules of the grid.
Yeah, there's that.
Like, the grid just might as well not be a thing in this because it is entirely different. Apparently, every server is its own grid. No, that's not how it works. It was that the grid is the entire world, and these are essentially cities in it. But no worries. But my thing for the non... and again, I'm very angry about this movie.
No, I know.
My thing about the emotionless thing is I think that could work with the right actors. My point being Jodie Turner-Smith. I think she does it incredibly well, that non-emotion. And for Athena, it does. I still don't like her character, though. I still don't think it works for this movie. She acts it incredibly well, and it still just doesn't work for me. The other programs in this are like, it should work for me. It just doesn't. And I think that's just the beginning of these problems for me. Like, the amount of jump cuts this movie has for no fucking reason is
the
insane.
editing is definitely
the editing is insane. And I want to talk about the editor, Tyler Nelson, not to lambast this man for Tron Ares, because again, you do your job, you get that money, get that paycheck. Hell yeah, man. This is the dude that edited the Batman.
I mean, there were a lot of weird cuts in the Batman, too, to be fair. Like,
this is the dude that edited the Batman.
But if you watch that movie for the editing, it's edited in a strange way. I think we forgive it, again, probably because of the writing and because of the acting. Here, that is less...
This dude also edited Creed 3.
Defense? I haven't seen those movies, so I can't speak to it.
Those are two of my favorite movies of the last 5 years. Like, genuinely great. Those he did edit with other people. On the Batman, he edited with William Hoy. In Creed 3, he edited with Jessica Backlise. And so, credit where credit is due to everybody there. But, like, it just doesn't line up for me. The other one for me is Evan Peters' character. I will give him credit. He is so terrible.
No,
he is a perfect villain, though, for Tron.
He's not the that is the one thing I
his
did
character not his actual character, not his acting in this, but the idea of a CEO who is just kind of shit. That is a
boy.
Yeah, well, not even the mom. I'm just more of the CEO that's kind of shit. That is a good villain for Tron.
But you don't need all that. You don't need all of this stuff
shit
with Gillian Anderson. Like,
yeah, you don't need it. You didn't need any of that. And then we get like this tease at the end of the movie that like apparently he's becoming Master Control because he threw himself into the grid. Yeah, sorry, but it
Sark
does
still exist as an underlying program on the Dillinger grid.
Or
which
don't get me
apparently
fucking
is a thing.
started about Flynn in this movie, because this movie just again
That was-
ignores Tron Legacy.
I mean, it doesn't though, because this version of Flynn's grid was off the grid because it wasn't connected to anything, which is why they did the 80s like monochromatic motif over it. But then also Jeff Bridges is old Jeff Bridges and not young Jeff Bridges. And if he was going to impose himself into the thing, why wouldn't it be the?
Because it would have been young Jeff Bridges.
That's a whole other thing.
It would have been young Jeff Bridges, first off. Second off, one of the beauties of both the original Tron and Tron Legacy is that Flynn is to the programs a god. And when he actually interacts with them and interacts with people, you very, very, very quickly see that he is not. Especially with how he interacts with programs.
But you also see that here with Ares, to be fair.
I don't think you do. The entire time he's presented in this movie, it is in a godlike fashion that I just don't think works for this character and doesn't understand what this character is.
Well, it presents him in that way, but then it's juxtaposed with the way the characters are written, the way the character interacts, right? Like it is presented as a godlike figure, but then, he's the dude.
I honestly think he's spouting too much wisdom in this to be anything helpful to what that character is. I
think it also it lessens the emotional impact of Flynn's sacrifice in Legacy, and the whole reason that his son escapes the grid is because of his sacrifice. And then they open this with a montage of, he stepped down as CEO and disappeared.
There's also just in general with this story something hilarious about this character who's trying to become self-aware and have their own sense of purpose and belonging, needing to get that purpose and belonging from somebody else. That's an issue with most movies, though. I'm not going to lambast this one for it.
I will say, of the in the last 5 years, this is the better of the two Pinocchio films. I know that's not saying a lot, but I still think this is better than the live-action Robert Zemeckis Pinocchio.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I thought you were referring to the Guillermo del Toro one, but then I remembered that it's animated.
The Del Toro one is good. I was talking about the Zemeckis one.
Yeah,
the only redeeming quality of that entire film is Cynthia Erivo.
Yeah, I genuinely there's so much frustrating to me. I think the red should have been cooler to me, and like just the general world of it. There was bits and pieces that were unique. Like I liked the water being such a thing in the Dillinger grid.
In the grid.
But like ultimately, cool. It just kind of felt like, oh, this is red because we need to make it really clear that this is not NCOM. Like we need to make it very clear that NCOM is blue and Dillinger is red, even though that's not how that works.
No,
colors have meaning on the grid.
Yeah, color is more emotion and
color is purpose. Blue, white fights are the users. Blue is your general programs. Red are your control programs. And orange are your minions of the control programs. Like that has been very specific.
Mm-hmm. And I would still argue that the programs that Dillinger is creating are control, even if they're like everything, like his entire purpose is about the control of the grid. So everything that he has purpose built has been for control. So it does, I can align it in my head canon. And also it just looked really cool bringing a lot of that stuff into the real world.
They did look cool in the real world. I will give you that.
And they did that because of the budget overruns that they had on Tron Legacy of everything being in the grid and being way too expensive to produce. And then this movie still blew through its budget and still very much underperformed at the box office.
It's such a thing where it's like Disney has the tools to make this cheaper too. Like I know we talk about the over-reliance for it over on the Star Wars side, but the volume would have been perfect for this movie.
Yeah.
Like use it. People like you made this tech, use it. There's so many ways to make Tron cheaper. It doesn't have to, you can cut it back. We had this whole section right with the 80s style graphics. It's like use that to save money. It was cool-ish. It would be cool if it had a better.
You spent way too much time there.
Yeah, NCOM in general was just kind of frustrating because it's like Edcom in the original original Tron, it's kind of a Microsoft, where it has this video game division, and that's why Kevin Flynn is known. But ultimately, it's a software company, and we follow that legacy in Tron Legacy, where it is essentially a Microsoft, where it is launching operating systems. It is Microsoft. And in this
Are they also asking their gaming division to maximize profits, and that's leading to a whole bunch of poor consumer decisions that people won't shut up about?
I'm not going to speak on that.
No, you're not.
I will not be speaking on that for reasons. That's all I will say.
I know.
Oh, I'm saying that for listeners. We got all that, but yeah, in this one, they're just a video game company now. It's like, okay, so what the fuck happened? But also, here's this permanence code that we're trying to get because the other people are getting it, and then that's both of their reasons for getting it.
To be a real boy. I don't know. Again, it's dumb, but like I still enjoyed the momentum. Like even like the scene in the gas station and like pulling up in the other car with Depeche Mode playing. Like it has again. This felt campy to me more than anything else. But again, I'm not a critic. I know we're talking about this online like we're reviewers, but like I just go into these things looking to have a decent 2-hour escape from everyday life, and this delivered on that. Not to the extent I would have liked, but it was like I don't have any issue with anyone who, when this drops on Disney Plus, wants to just spend the night and watch it. Like there's no reason not to watch it. I will never fault anyone for that.
I will not fault you for watching this on Disney Plus. I will fault you for being like us and watching this in a movie theater. Of like
I do think some of the set pieces were worth seeing on the screen.
I don't think there's a single set piece in this film that is worth seeing on the movie theater screen. I think
the whole scene with the fighter jets was cool.
Saw it in the trailer.
Yeah, that was part of the problem, though. Unfortunately,
also significantly later in the movie than I was expecting. Just in general.
Yeah, I didn't expect that to be the third act. I thought they were going to open on that.
Yeah. I will say, like, in terms of other stuff, the 29-minute time limit I did think was interesting. I actually did like that in terms of story stuff. That's a very fun constraint to give.
It's very specific. I wonder if there's meaning behind it.
I don't like that we can essentially ignore this constraint and you can just bring them right back afterwards. But it does. That's what leads into like a lot of the stress within the third act. Which again, I just think this movie is incredibly deeply flawed. I am trying to think of other things. Really should have cared about Caius dying at the beginning. Just couldn't care less.
Who?
Fuck, what's his name? We were literally just talking about him earlier.
Cameron Monaghan?
Cameron Monaghan's character, yeah.
Yeah, that was a blink and you'll miss it cameo more than anything else.
Yeah, but that character's death is the entire thing that sends Ares on his journey.
Yeah.
And like you just don't care.
I did enjoy seeing Hassan Minhaj.
He was great. He'll be great. He's great in everything.
Yeah.
Why Alaska as well? Like that's a random like. Yeah, we're going off the grid. We're going to Alaska.
Just like stashed all his stuff in Alaska when he lives in San Francisco.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't one of those things I thought of while I was watching the movie. Just like, all right, whatever. They wanted a remote place to build orange trees. Okay.
Genuinely, my first thought, because it's the first thing we see in this movie, is why the fuck are they in Alaska? I was like, is this because of like a server thing and they're running a server so complex that it has to be cold? I'm like, no.
Nah, dude,
it's just because they just happened to stash some shit there.
He just had a stash in Alaska for some reason. That's fine. But like, I mean, I'm with you. I don't think the movie is well written. I think it was edited to hell. There was a lot that was changed about this film when it was originally proposed as a direct sequel to Legacy and to what it became 15-ish years later. But I mean, from a visuals perspective, my eyeballs enjoyed consuming this in 3D, which I've not been able to say about a movie in a very long time. So like that in and of itself is a bit of a win for the movie because there wasn't anything that I didn't enjoy looking at. There were things I didn't enjoy hearing, but in terms of the visuals and the moment to moment, the scenes going from the grid to the real world back again, the 80s motif on the Flynn grid, like I enjoyed aspects of that.
Yeah, I think they did a
And
solid
like
job going back and forth between the grid and the real world in terms of just visual aesthetic. Mostly because this entire movie is filmed at least in the real world, most of this movie is filmed at night, which I think does help with that back and forth, especially when like the grid is a all black environment with neon red light. Um, but yeah, it's like even like the fight scenes for me in this movie, like their sticks that they had. I'm like, man, the discs are so much more interesting to me.
But he has a disc, but the disc is a triangle.
The triangle disc is dumb.
It is, but again, it's just what the thing I liked about the changes to the Dillinger programs versus what we've seen in previous iterations is that everything is just a little sharper, but it's sharper because he's trying to compensate for the lack of control that he has over his own life and his own company,
Oh,
and just trying to make things edgy. And like I kind of dig that
I'm
because
fine with
it's a
that.
character flaw being presented through the designs that he's now
I'm not
invested
so
into his own grid.
I'm not mad at this movie aesthetically. I just don't think it does anything unique that Tron Legacy didn't already do. Um, but the triangle disc does actually annoy me because there's a point in this movie where Athena gets the triangle disc and uses it
She's
as her
master control.
and uses it as her own disc, which is not how that works.
No. Okay, so the way that my head canon worked around that was that when she was reconstituted after going back into the grid, when
But she
Dillinger
gets it.
recreated her, he gave her the master control directive, and that is for his grid what
She
did the
gets it though.
triangle.
She gets it before she's reconstituted though. She picks it up. She picks it up out of the water and puts it on her back.
Oh, that's not how that works. I missed that entirely.
Yeah, that's not how identity discs work. It is literally their human form is not their form. It is their disc. Like that is a core tenet of Tron. That is why the disc wars are so important. Like again, this is I think a movie
you're
that
focusing more on the lore, and as a standalone, like as a
and
film,
as a
that just exists in
standalone
this
film, it's
universe,
shit. Like it just
eh,
is. Like I'm
it's fine to watch.
I think
Like
well, again, I
as
don't
someone
think
who
this movie
isn't
does
as deep,
anything visually interesting. I don't think it has any unique character or story beats to make it. This film is about nothing. That's the thing that is most upsetting to me is you do an AI
yeah,
film in 2025 and don't say a fucking thing.
yeah, I will agree with you there. It does feel like again, it feels like a popcorn film. There isn't a like there isn't a real conflict here, to be honest. Like there isn't resolution. But in terms of it just being a film with a dope soundtrack, you said it was good.
The soundtrack is
I
good.
left that I left that theater. I started bumping that soundtrack in the car. It was great.
Oh yeah, I actually really love the soundtrack in this. Nine Inch Nails fucking nailed it.
Yeah,
Nine Inch Nails.
they nailed the vibes
But
for sure.
for me, I'm like, I'm not sure. If like, okay, do I like the soundtrack for this, or do I just really like Nine Inch Nails?
I mean,
And that's just because
you
I
can do
haven't.
both.
Honestly, that's really just because I haven't really listened to the soundtrack since seeing this movie. I would just rather go back and actually just listen to Nine Inch Nails proper.
See, I like the soundtrack because I like the techno vibes to it. That's different than like it's not entirely Nine Inch Nails. They also took inspiration from this universe and infused that into the soundtrack, which I appreciated. And like I agree there really aren't any stakes here, but like I enjoy like I said, I enjoyed the different constructs and the way that was used both in the grid and on the real world. The idea of the was it the Dominator? What's the big old thing?
Oh, the Recognizer.
The Recognizer, yeah, like that coming through, getting effed up, falling into build. Like I just liked seeing the two worlds clash in the real world because we haven't really seen that to this point in Tron. But again, like I went into this not as infused in the Tron lore as you are. And for me, I can come out of this and say, I didn't feel like I wasted 2 hours of my life the way that you are.
I mean, for me, even aside from the lore stuff that drives me crazy, I genuinely think this is a poorly written, hastily created movie that is trying to force a new franchise for Disney. Like they are
Yeah.
trying. They tried to do the Spider. They didn't even do a good job at doing the Amazing Spider-Man 2 thing. Of Amazing Spider-Man 2 tried to set it up so it had a bunch of different potential offshoots. This just tried to be one offshoot and failed. Like
Like I said, I do think that this is probably like it was probably subject to a number of rewrites, reshoots, probably a lot. Again, this is a film I feel like was crafted during that era of Disney where they wanted to have their hands in the creative bucket at all times. And that's why we're not leaning heavily enough into the themes of AI in the real world and the implications of that on the military and all of these other aspects of it, where they like, there's a one off line about, these are your soldiers of the future and they don't feel pain, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, so they're doing Terminator, but they don't really like dive into that as the core concept. It then falls back on Ares' story of trying to be a real boy.
so, here's the
Which
thing
just
that
again
bugs me
to
about
your
this.
point doesn't work with Leto being that emotional center of the film.
On some point, I agree with you, but also when you look back at like the actual creation of this film was initially conceptualized and started in 2010. This
Yeah,
was supposed to be
it was conceptualized as a direct sequel to Legacy.
yes, and I'm pretty sure that they threw out pretty much everything from that original
Yes.
script. It was supposed to be about Sam and Cora kind of really truly becoming human, and then back in I want to say 2020 is when it was announced again that they were working on this still. And I do think some of it is Disney trying to pull
I think
in
that was
little bits and
it was even
pieces.
earlier than that. I think Jared Leto has been attached to this film for like since 2017.
Um, I know in 2020 is when they had hired Garth Davis, who, by
That
the
is
way,
correct. Yeah.
didn't stay as the director on this. That's how
No,
we
I
ended
want to
up.
say there were like 3 or 4 other directors before
Yeah,
we got
there
what
was
we
a
got.
lot. The other crazy thing for me here is that they were going to use this AI generated character.
Yeah, there's that too.
I'm grateful they didn't, but also that's just such an insane statement. Can
It
you
is, but
imagine?
also it is that is like peak 2022, 2023 Disney of just trying to over overcommit on the creative side and not allowing your creators the freedom to build what they want to build
But
into
like,
their
also,
stories.
can you imagine a story like this that says absolutely nothing about AI, having an AI generated character?
Exactly. If the film had gravitas and really dove into the ethics of AI and AI in the real
It
world and the
also
implications of AI on the military, and is there a human nature in AI that like
and
that can be a
also a
really compelling
character for what
story,
it's
especially
worth.
if there is a Gen AI character,
This
but
Gen
not
AI,
with what we got.
this Gen AI character, which frankly should never happen, should never exist, was supposed to be a sidekick to Flynn. It would have
Yeah,
replaced Bit. So it would have
yeah,
replaced the
that would have been
adorable
bad.
character that a handful of people will know from the original Tron. Let's be honest, very few people actually watch the original Tron movie. Um,
I think a lot of people watched it. I don't think people back on it and really understand that it was not a good movie at the time and has not aged well at all, but people have a reverence for it.
Also, just in general, as a reminder, this film was hit by the writer strike and the SAG-AFTRA strike. They didn't actually start filming this movie until 2024.
Yeah.
They had time to fix a lot of this. They had time to talk about this, to accept where this, to look at this movie and say, hey, maybe some of this might not work. Maybe some of this will work. What can we pull from here? What can we not? They had the time as well to like take that 2020 styling that Disney definitely had and take a beat and say, okay, how do we make this more in our 2025 alignment? Which, has Disney had a real identity to any of their stuff in the last decade? That's another conversation to be had.
Well,
But
and again, I do think with how long it took them to get to production, that there was just too many times to second guess decisions, second guess the themes of it, and we ended up with this very watered down like Disney-fied version of what an AI movie would look like.
see, even then, like
And
I
it's
get the
been done.
Disney-fied statement, but it feels more than that. Like it, I can get Disney-fied. Disney-fied to me is Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man Tell No Tales, where
Which was terrible.
which was terrible, yeah, but it was okay. We're just gonna try
Them
again.
trying to reinvigorate a franchise that they wanted to make money off of, that people had a reverence for, but use, poor writers and editors and rely solely on the star power of their lead.
Yeah, but there was at least some decent parts of that film. I'm not disagreeing that
And
I'm not
there were
disagreeing
some
that the
decent.
there are no decent parts in this movie, Mitch. I'm sorry. I just
Yes,
fully
there
disagree
are.
with you. I I fully am in disagreement. I think this is one of the worst movies I've ever seen. I genuinely, this felt for me like even more like complete corporate cash grab. Like we need this very much felt like, okay, we don't have a Star Wars project coming out for a while aside from Mando and Grogu, which is and kind of an ending to that story, so we can't use that for a bunch of future movies.
You do have Ahsoka season 2, though.
Yeah, but it's not a movie, and they're very particular
No.
about the money they make off of movies versus Disney Plus. It was very much felt like Disney saying, okay, we need a sci-fi franchise that's not Star Wars. Let's make it Tron, and then trying to make the most basic. I hope this appeals to everybody. Absolute nothing of a movie. And then just shitting the bed even on that.
I have one more thing, and I think we might actually be able to end on this. The way that this film was developed and the way that the final product was presented is almost as if an executive at Disney went to their LLM or large language model, large language model of choice, whether that be ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, whichever,
I'm pretty sure
and
you just
said,
taught a lot of people what LLM means.
yeah, probably. And asked it how it would develop a film focused on AI as a direct sequel to the 2010 film Tron Legacy. And whatever it spat out is what they used as the first treatment of the script and went from there. And it shows. And like I said, from a visuals perspective, ILM, the teams there, I think Weta worked on this. Like, there was a lot of really good. There are aspects of this. Sorry, no Weta, but ILM being the primary like visual effects
visually
studio.
it looks incredibly. It looks good. It looks incredibly
And
real.
the soundtrack is really well put together and fits the vibe of the film, the story they told. Outside of that, there's some visual, like there are some moments that are fun to look at, but everything that else that is there, I will agree with you, is it doesn't go to serve any meaningful story whatsoever. It's just pretty to look at times. And, for me to get out of the house for a couple of hours, eat a bag of popcorn and look at some pretty things while people talk words is enough for me sometimes.
Maybe that also affected my filming of this movie because I did have popcorn and it was really bad popcorn.
That will definitely impede any movie going experience.
Like I tried a new theater this time. I'm trying the cheaper theater by my apartment rather than actually going out to Disney and seeing movies there. Because man, those movies.
I
are
went to the one
expensive.
just around the corner for me because I wanted to be closer to home because there was a baseball game that night.
Fair.
So I wanted to get home before the game started. And
Yeah, I don't have my.
my only option to not miss the game that night was a 6 p.m. 3D showing. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I don't have my AMC A list anymore. So I was
So
like, I gotta think about this more.
I resubbed to our version of that for our theater chain because I realized, and we can maybe end on this, I'm like looking forward to other films coming out this year.
So much coming.
Well, I realized when I got this that if you look at not really the rest of October, there isn't really much. I do want to see the new Springsteen biopic, and we could actually talk about that because it is 20th century. Maybe that could be a Disney Plus one though, whenever that drops. But you look at November, like we've got Predator Badlands coming. We've got Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which I really want to see because I really enjoy it. Again, popcorn movies. I really enjoyed those first two films. a very Jonas Christmas movie, which Carmen has already agreed that she wants to talk to you about.
I thought that was a Disney
Um,
Plus movie.
it is a Disney Plus thing, but I
Okay.
saw it and I just had to say that it was coming.
Fair enough.
Wicked for Good, Zootopia 2, and that's just
Oh
November.
man, I forgot about Zootopia too. We
December, you got
reacted
Five
to
Nights at
that.
Freddy's 2, if that's your thing.
Also, I'm sure it will get at
Avatar,
least
Fire
a.
and Ash.
It'll probably get at least a little bit of a theatrical run, but Wake Up Dead Man, the
Yeah,
new
that looks cool too. The Knives Out
Knives
film.
Out film. Yeah.
Yeah, so like there are a number of films that we want to go to the theater to see. So I'm going to keep that subscription at least through. I mean, the only way I'm going to be able to sit through Avatar, Fire and Ash is with some popcorn and candy, and I
See,
get a discount on those.
but also, like you could just ignore that movie and go see the fantastic movie that will be the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants, instead.
No, but the week after Anaconda comes out, have you seen the trailer for the new Anaconda movie?
I did. It looks like actually surprisingly fun.
Yeah, it looks so. I think the trailer actually played before this movie, and it looks so stupid. But I'm also on a bit of a Steve Zahn kick right now because he plays the head coach in Chad Powers. So I really like Steve Zahn as
Dude,
an
I am
actor.
like so disappointed in myself. I still haven't started Chad Powers.
I watched the first couple of episodes, and I look forward to talking about it with you because Hulu is officially worldwide now on Disney Plus. So that is a thing.
I think just for me with this movie, and again, we'll wrap this up, and I'll stop being angry about this and move on.
No,
And
you
do
won't.
a
You're
thousand.
never gonna stop being angry about this.
No, I will move on with the rest of my life and do 1,000 other things that make me happy instead. Um, and I think that is.
Did
the
you ever
thing
see
for
the
this.
2005 action adventure film Sahara?
No, I have not.
So it stars Matthew McConaughey and Steve Zahn, and it's about a treasure hunter. It's basically them just trying to do like a modern day Indiana Jones with Matthew McConaughey, and it's a terrible film, but it's still a fun time. Like it's again another great popcorn movie. So anyone out there is looking for a good popcorn movie, Sahara, Matthew McConaughey, Steve Zahn, Penelope Cruz. It's a good time.
Yeah, I think so. I think for me with this movie, right, where when you have this movie and you see what's come out this year, and we've had some incredible stuff come out this year. We had Sinners this year. We had Superman this year. We had K-pop Demon Hunter. But even just in terms of
Fantastic
action,
Four.
right? We had Fantastic Four. We had Captain America. We had Thunderbolts, Mission Impossible, like even Jurassic World Rebirth. Like
No, that was bad. That I
Still-
enjoyed this movie more than Jurassic World Rebirth.
I like Jurassic World Rebirth significantly more than this movie.
Jurassic World Rebirth is without a doubt one of the worst movies I've ever seen. There is nothing in that movie that matters.
I should say I don't
feel
disagree
about that
with
the way you feel about this.
I don't disagree with your statement. I just think it's minusculely better than Tron Ares.
No, this is better solely because it has a Nine Inch Nails soundtrack.
You know what? Nine Inch Nails is good enough to boot things up. I would tell you Nine Inch Nails, though, has the same boost that I will give for literally any movie that has dinosaurs.
Fine, I'll give you that.
But yeah, with all of these fantastic movies coming out, even like I hated it, but Lilo and Stitch.
I was watching that last night.
There's so many better movies to be seeing right now. There, even on streaming, even when this comes to streaming, there are better things to watch. And if you want to watch this, like, go for it, please. I want to know what everybody else thinks. Obviously, I am very much on the negative end. Mitch, I would say you're kind of middle of the road.
I didn't feel like I wasted my time watching it.
I'm going to call that middle of the road.
It's about as middle of the road as I can get. Yeah.
I'm actually curious to see. I want to find a review of someone like who actually loved this movie because I'm kind of curious what the thoughts are there. But yeah, I mean, this movie exists, and we're stuck with this movie forever because it is in our intro. So, and I do not. Yeah, it's one of the objects.
Oh, okay. Tron is a franchise, not this specific.
No,
movie.
this specific movie. I made the identity disc switch from blue to red.
But I mean, there are red identity discs in other films.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyways, that's going to wrap up this episode, folks. Please let us know what you thought about Tron Ares. Where are you on this weird spectrum of this weird movie. Of course, let us know what you would like us to talk about, whether that is movie reviews or really just any Disney topic. I got a couple of ideas planned for the future that are going to be interesting, so please let us know what you want from that. What you might want to check out the show where we're currently going over Win or Lose. Hopefully recording that one soon. And until next time, be good to each other and have a magical day.